Hi, I'm Bill Lindsay, and welcome to Hockey Today. We're here with a couple former hockey players that played in the NHL with Chris Kostopoulos, Craig Norwich, and Dave Tomlinson. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
Happy to have you here. Just basically wanted to talk today. The NHL went through a lockout a couple years ago, and they've kind of had a couple years now to get things going. And I just wanted to get you guys' feeling on the state of the NHL today and what you guys think of the game.
Well, I think the game's not improved very much personally. I think the rule changes kind of hurt it. I think the lockout definitely slowed it down a little bit. And I'm not so sure what it's going to take to get back.
I'd like to disagree with Chris, but I'd like to change seats with Dave before I do that.
That's okay.
I think the game's gotten better. The skill levels have risen, I think, and I find it to be a more entertaining game because of the speed and the less interference out there. So, in my opinion, I think the game has improved.
I like the rule changes. I like that nowadays, with the new rules, the players that have the skill are able to show that skill by taking away the hooking and the holding and the interference. And that's, I think, what most people come to see now is the skill level of the players.
So the lockout, they had the lockout, and I've heard the argument that the players held out and it cost a year of hockey and it wasn't good for hockey. But the one thing that it did afford the NHL to do and the players to sit down and to look at the rules and try to revamp everything. And I've had a lot of comments that they've sort of got it right, that the time that they had to sit down in the whole lockout, maybe that was the most beneficial thing that came out of the lockout was the new rules and the sort of the new NHL that we have today. Do you think that they got it right with the new rules, as you said, Dave, and all that? Do you think the game is faster and going better?
I disagree with Craig. You change the rules to a point now where you've taken away just about everything everybody knows in the game, playing right now. And you have to adjust your game just like that overnight.
Well, I think the lockout probably hurt some of the veteran players that missed that year and probably maybe ended some guys' careers, so it probably wasn't a positive thing for those fellows. But, the younger guys, that the Zach Parisis and the Patrick Eves and the Joe Corvos and those kind of youngsters, I think the game's set them up in a good position now, and I think it's a healthy game out there.
I think with rule changes in general, as an athlete, you're going to be unsure of what the product's going to bring, but you have to adjust. You have to adjust or you get left behind. And I think what they've tried to do with the rules is try to, again, have it be a more exciting product for the people that come to watch the games. And that's the key, isn't it, to get more fans into the building. And if they're going to put a product on the ice that people are going to want to pay for and come to watch, if to get it that way they're going to have to make some rule changes, then I guess the players have to adjust.
Are there any other changes that you would like to see made?
I'd like to see the mask taken off. I think somebody, maybe it was Brett Hull, said everybody, unless they have an eye injury or something, they shouldn't be allowed to wear a shield. I think that would really help the game.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. You hear a lot of debate on that. I don't know how that would fly over with the U.S. audiences and stuff, but that's a point that you hear made sometimes. What do you think, Chris?
I agree. I think the mask takes away from sometimes the manliness of some of the players out there. They seem to be a little bit braver with the masks on. And the plexiglass, eye protection, and I think it makes them a little braver out there.
I'd like to see what would happen to the game if they took away the instigator rule, to really see what guys would have to stick up for themselves, because the way that I remember watching the game and the way it is now, you've got players, it's their role to instigate and draw the penalty, and then they don't really have to answer for their actions with the stick. And before, especially when Chris played, I don't think you had that. I think, as it's mentioned before, there was some self-policing there, and guys wouldn't get away with stick fouls that would draw a penalty, and then they'd be kind of applauded for it because they brought their team to a power play that could perhaps change the game.
Yeah, I think you probably got some good. I'm screwing up. Sorry.
It's all right.
I'm drawing blank. One sec. With all the rule changes and all the stuff that's gone on, you've played over in Europe, Dave, and you've played also some yourself, Craig. What is the biggest difference that you see in European hockey over here, that you see over in the NHL now?
Well, it's the space out there. There was a time in the NHL when a big guy could use his stick to control an area of the ice, and especially when the puck was between the two blue lines. There was a computer graphic once I saw. There was no space out there. All the European rinks are much bigger and I think it's more conducive to the skill game.
I find the biggest difference from going over to Europe from playing here back in the NHL was the refereeing. Refereeing in Europe is terrible. It's awful. They're not professionals. They're amateur referees that are influenced by the crowd. So you know that when you're playing on the road, you're going to get terrible refereeing. You almost get used to it, but it's a travesty. It really is. And that's the biggest thing I think players have to get used to. Leaving the NHL, people complain about the refereeing in the NHL. You go over to Europe, you're going to go running back to the NHL to get good refereeing.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on today. We appreciate you guys coming here and having the show. I'm Bill Lindsay, and we'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and hope you all have a good day.